Good morning everyone, welcome back to my channel. Okay, as you saw in my first video for this series, I'm going to be completing a series of all sorts of different activities leading up to Christmas. And in the first video, I went through everything that I hope to achieve by Christmas. Now, one of the little projects, I thought I might as well get it started and get it sort of to the couch where I can just do some needlework on it, is reproducing this tag that I made for the Roxy Journal of Stitchery prompt, which was tag. And I have a young family that has spotted it and would like one for their family. So in the process, a couple months later, I found this envelope which came into our inventory for Christmas within my business. Now these are available everywhere, and if you can't find one, it'd be so easy to make an envelope. They've used red felt, it's all pre-printed, a little bit ugly that, but we'll take care of all of that. So it yeah, nice, quick, simple, easy, robust. And then they've stitched a cord into the side seam as they've come up this side, so that's making it really secure. So as you come around with your sewing machine or your hand sewing, however you decide to make one, that cord is caught in that seam, which I thought was quite a natty little idea. So the plan is now I'm going to use this base and embellish it and make it, you know, my own. Plus in the process, reproduce this tag for the kids. So first thing first, the tag. Now this one going on my book was just made out of some cardstock. So it's strong, but probably not strong enough for a heap of kids to play with. That's going to be attached to my spine to decorate the journal. So I ended up going to, sorry guys, just grabbing my cutter. I ended up going to the pantry and finding some cardboard off of a flap of a box. And I'm thinking I'm gonna use this. It's just a little bit more robust. I just find that if the kids start grabbing it and playing with it, and you know, you want it to sort of last. So I'm going to just cut this down a little bit. What size will I make it? Probably we'll start at 4 inches wide, because we have plenty of room in this envelope. So to put a nice big key in there would be good. I'm just going to square it up a little bit. So it's now 4 inches. Tidy up the bottom. And width-wise, it could easily be that. So that's a bit crooked. So I might cut it to that corner and square it up. Okay. So there's our base for our tag. Thank you, Nespresso, for giving me some cardboard. Now, the next thing I want to do is create the tab top. So that's a good size. I think little fingers will be able to get in there and pull that tag out, and it's nice and generous in size. So let's cut the top corner, turn that over, so that'll give me the opposite side. Get my fingers out of the way. Now we do have this two-tone, and I think that will be noticeable. Yeah, it will. So what I want to do before I go too much further is actually glue. I want to glue that to there just to hide the fact that that's got two colours. You could paint it, you could. And the other thing is there's those ribs in this corrugated, I nearly said corrugated iron. There's ribs in these corrugated pieces of card, and I don't want to see that through my stitching. So I think I will actually do this both sides. Can't hurt. It's only going to make it stronger. So I need plenty of glue. I'm going to stick that onto there. I might as well go to the corner, hey? Take advantage of that straight edge. So that's going to go onto there. Now I've got glue everywhere. Oh, and I'm on my sewing. Sorry guys, just getting some wet ones. I'm on my wool sewing mat too. Goodness me. I'm so excited about getting everything started and done that I literally just turn the camera on and away we go, which, you know, that's my style. You guys seem to enjoy watching it all come together. So I'm just going to burnish that with a little extra, just to make sure that that really adheres. I'll just trim that off. Now I'll put that to one side. I'll keep that piece because I'm going to do the same on the other side. Yeah, that's good. So let's get the glue out of the way. Piece of cardboard spare for later. Now our fabric. Oh, look at that. Perfect size. Oh, it's even smaller if I turn it over. Good on you, Corrine. Yep, perfect. Look at that. So these two scraps were left over from, if you've been watching my journal of stitchery, I'm making the blue journal, which is going to be an advent calendar. And these little pieces were the little element where I put the number. And for some reason, I had two left over. So I've picked them up to use in this project, which looks like will be the perfect size for my tag. Yeah. So let's put that under my mat to dry and get a little bit of extra pressure on it. Slide that in there. Okay, so the plan now is to reproduce our little house. So let's just put that to one side. We might use that one. It's got the crease, which I can iron out at some point. But most of it will be covered anyway. So we'll save that one for the words. So what I'm going to do with the words is pretty much just using my pen, just like I did last time, just write the message here. Let me just check one more thing before we get ahead of ourselves. Let's get the little tag back out. I just want to mark the boundaries at the top. Now this is a heat pen, so all is good. It will disappear. So I just want to roughly mark, just so that I don't go crazy and go over the edge too much. Oh, my tummy's rumbling. I didn't have that centered. Must need breakfast. Let's just redo that line there. The top's good, and that's pretty close anyway. Okay, so that's, and the bottom is a similar overlap as that. All good. Oop. Now I might as well do the second one, hey? Makes sense. So just a little overlap there, a little overlap there. And I'm just going to sketch the top of the tag. That will be trimmed back when we glue these two fabric elements to the tag. Okay. Can you hear Fudge? You probably can't. He's bellowing. He's out in the garage coming through the house looking for me, bellowing as he goes. So all I'll do here is we'll have room for the stamp. Now that stamp I got from this pack of stamps, and then on the other side is the 25th of December, which is up there. So that's the stamp I used. I believe it is still available if you did want to track it down. So if we have a bit of space there, I'll probably have to make the stamp a little bit bigger. So I will literally just with some wacky writing. That's all I did last time, if I remember. Dear Santa. When they read this out aloud, because they spotted it first, they were more interested in this key than all the needlework that was in the actual journal, which is pretty cute. Of course, that's the case. We don't have a chimney, so all I'll do is probably use one thread of DMC stranded cotton. So you can see, comma, so will I fit please in there? I don't think, oh, I might. Oh, yeah, I don't like that. It's a bit too close to that edge. So what I'll do is I'll stitch so there. So please, I'll iron over that and reposition it, but I will have room at least. Just use this magic key. And then what I'll do is I might put the name of the kids here. I'll have a little think about that, or do I keep it a little bit more generic? Please use the magic key, and we'll do an exclamation mark. All right, that should work. And we have room for a stamp. Now let's address the stamp. Now I've got my pack of fabrics from our red journal of stitchery. So I figured we might as well just use some of these scraps that are in here. I think what we might do is, where's some calico? Sorry guys, I'm jumping up again. Grab a scrap of calico. I'm going to stamp. Maybe we do that first and go from there. So which stamp did I use? I think it's that one. So let's stamp it onto the calico. Now we need a book. Might have to do a few, which doesn't matter because I've got so many projects going that if I did do a few, I'm sure we'll use them. Just give it a second. Beautiful. Let's do a couple more. And then I'll put them in the pile of scraps behind me, and they may get stitched into some of those tags. Be good to have a few little elements ready to go. Now I'm just looking over at that pack, and there's these wriggly lines. I didn't really have room for them on that original tag, but I'm due this time. So let's maybe have a go with some of these squiggly lines. Make it really look like we have a Ooh, not a lover of that. Yeah, no, I don't like that. Nope, gone. I think they're too defined. Usually they're sort of a bit faded and not really part of it. Can you see? Did you even see all that? Goodness me, was I on camera? I don't even think I was. So sorry, guys. Let's get another piece of scrap. This little... And let's print some 20th of December's. We'll just do a few of them, like I did with the postage stamp. Okay, that'll do. So there's our two little elements. There's heaps on here that we could use. We might revisit this little pack of stamps. Those reindeer would be nice on a tag, little slow stitch tag fronters, the bits that's going on the front. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back one video and you'll see the grand plan. Okay, so scraps out of the way, book out of the way. Now, let's get ourselves one of these. And because our tag is bigger, we'll do some layers of fabric behind it to make it real scrappy. I then stitched around it in the red thread. So I'll definitely do that again because I really liked that look. All right, some nice little scrappy bits. I'll put these in amongst our tray of little elements. So there's even some scrappy bits in here that maybe we could use. So I might even keep them out a little bit. Let's just put the stamp ink and all of that mess away before there's trouble. Okay. Now, let's layer. Let's layer something up here underneath all that. So we do have to leave room for the brad. So we might have to come down a little bit. If that brad goes there, I think maybe we need to reduce this a little bit. We're going to be crashing into the brad. So let's knock this down a little bit in size. It's going to be hard to rip that. Got puppy dogs at the craft window looking at me. That means my husband must be getting ready to appear on the scene for breakfast. I really love these here. The red is just, oh, doesn't look as good there as I had in my head. Yeah, I like that one. So maybe I just want a little bit of red under it just to make it pop a bit. What's in the scraps here? That one there's been a bit of a favourite. Maybe we lay it on there first. Let's cut out a little square. Now we just need to make it a bit frayed and messy. So let's give it a bit of a rough up. Once I get this sort of layout done, then I can sort of take it to the couch and it's ready to sort of work on. Might trim that down a fraction. Is that the right piece? Yeah. Oh gosh. So I'm not showcasing the fabric as such. See that bit there? I really like that. So I'm going to trim that off. And we'll trim that a little bit there. So there's just a hint of it coming through. Seems a shame to cover it all, but what I'm thinking is maybe we tilt it and make it a little less uniformed. Yeah, that's better. We get to see more. And then maybe something like this could be stitched down the bottom as just a little element on it. And maybe it could come into the other side. Who knows? There's a lot of maybes there. But anyway, I like that. I might just grab my needle and thread. No, I won't, because I'm wasting time for you guys. No, I will. It won't take long. I'm just going to pop a few little invisible stitches there so that that little cluster comes together. The other thing I might add while we're fiddling with it is a little bit of lace. So I'm just reaching across my desk, or even a little crocheted element, just to make it a little bit more interesting. Do we like that? I like it underneath. So we could also add a few beads. I'm just going to pop in there with a knot. A couple little stitches just to secure it. I might as well, while we're there. So because my tag's a bit bigger than the original, I've just got this little bit extra space that we can do a little collage of bits and bobs. And, you know, we could add, oh, we'll add a button. Let's add a button. Where's my red buttons? Hello, Bandit. Yeah. Oh, look at that. I love it. I'll just catch these little bits. I do need to fray up the piece behind a little bit as well, just to... So catching those just with a few little invisible stitches. I will get my red thread and I'll go around the circle. And highlight that component of it, and then I'm just going to put one stitch through the button because I will come back with that same red thread and tie it on, so it looks like the button is actually tied on to the fabric cluster. But we know that there's a little stitch in behind just to make it nice and strong for the little fingers that will be playing with it. Yeah. Where's my red thread? We need that burgundy, that one there. 498. It's like my favourite colour. So I'll stitch Dear Santa in the red, then I might just use that whole 6 and make it nice and fluffy. So what I'm going to do is just go down and then back up into that, and then tie it off. Just gives the cluster more of a 3D effect as well, just with that little knot. Okay, so that's that done, but I will also stitch around that little piece there. We've got plenty of room for our brad or the eyelet. I'll redo those letters. I'll probably stitch something on the bottom or their names. We'll see how we go with that. So that's pretty much that side of the key ready to go. Okay. I could write love from all of us. Love from all of us. Love from all of us. I could do kiss, kiss, kiss. Anyway, we'll see as that stitches together. So that side is pretty much ready to go, just embroidery. So that's easy. Now, let's do our little house. I might just put that needle and thread on there so that we're ready to go. Keep all that together. Now, our little house. We have to find a piece of lace to go across the front. We need a little house. I do like this fabric. So is it wide enough to give us our rectangle for our little house? Let's have a look. I think so. Yeah, let's do it. We'll leave the edge on there. I sort of like it. Okay. Now we need a roof. Now we will use the same check fabric because I have a lot of it, so we might as well nibble into that. I'm going to take a piece off because then I can put this big piece of fabric back into my cupboard and I've got enough left behind. I'm slowly stripping out of the boxes of fabric that I created for the project, bits and pieces that I probably won't need going forward for the last few prompts. It sort of feels like I'm achieving something. So that's silly. I'm hoping that we can create our little roof from this. So it's going to be a very primitive little house. We can come as high as that. She's a wonky little house. I'll go higher. We can always, let's fold it in half. And we're heading, where's my dot? We're heading to there. Okay, from here. Let's have a look. That's not too bad, just needs a little bit more shaping on this side. Nice decent roof. And then we've got our little chimney to the side. We might use a piece of fabric for the chimney, I think. Let's put that back. What could we use? Colours are a little bit limited, aren't they? Is there anything in this stash? There's sort of a different tone. Well, that might work. It's got a gold. It's very red. Do we get a bit of colour happening, guys? We're talking kids. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. Let's put a green chimney on the little house and see if we can capture one of these stars. Probably won't be seen, but let's give it a go. Let's see if we can use little green chimney. We can tuck it behind, like so. Yeah, I like it behind. Nice little chimney. Probably could have a fraction taken off of it, but I'm probably, you know, being pedantic, but that's all good. We can tuck that in there. Now, we had stamped the 25th of December element. So let's give that a quick snip and a rip and get one of those over to the table. Well, I like it off center a little bit. Then we could do something there. Maybe another cluster of fabric or some, definitely a button. I like that. And maybe do we use a bit more of the green to create a little scrappy itty bitty cluster? I'm liking that idea. What else could we add? We need a little bit of red. Maybe we do a spot. Oh, I don't know, there's so many options. Just pulling fabrics forward and snip a little bit off. Maybe we add a bit of that. Maybe I'm overthinking this too much. I think I need red. Where's a scrap of red? Has to be something. Oh, I found a little bow in my little box of tricks. There's a bit of red with white flowers just peeking through. Let's start that again. I like that. I like that. Then either the button or the bow. I like the button. And just pop that in there. So where's my needle and thread? I'm going to stitch that cluster together. With the thread coming through, and I might even tuck a bit of lace. What have I got? I just spotted this little morsel. Just to give it a pop of something. Yeah, okay. I need this thread first. Let's get a second needle going here. So I'll just remove that from there. I could even put a bit of cheesecloth in under there as well. Just as a bit of fibre, or I know what I'll do. I'll use some what do they call it? Eyelash yarn. So let me just put the button into position. Okay, I'll do another stitch. Can't hurt. And I'll end that off. So that's the little cluster done for the front. But what I want to do is some red eyelash yarn or some red fibres, or got some of this stuff. Let's put a little morsel of that on. Can't hurt. Bit of texture. And we dangle that on the side of the little tag. And if I can catch that underneath, that will help embellish our little cluster. So just a couple little stitches in there. That's not going anywhere. Okay, now that will just sit a little off center at the top of the house. I will probably stitch around the perimeter of that tag like I did this one, just to give it a bit of a detail, and then the outline of the roof can go in, and then I can work on the little house itself. So I might keep that thread. No, I will detach it, because then I can stitch it all together when I'm ready with my black thread. So that's that. All right, that little itty bitty piece can go on there. All right, now we need a door. Is that a door? Looks like a door. Is it the right size? Could be a little bit bigger. Here's a bigger piece. Look at that piece. I like that one. So we could do a door, and then maybe these could be windows. Let's have a play. Just getting the right size. Yeah, that'll do. Let's do a couple windows. And I wouldn't mind a little crocheted element over the top of the door. So 2 little windows. Do have room for 3. but I do want to put a little crocheted element. So do I reduce the door size down a little bit? It's crooked. Let's have a play with the crocheted bit that I've got in my mind first. We've got to find a semicircle that works. Let's trim that a little bit. Don't know if this will work. I think I'm going to go even further down. I've really trimmed it just to get down to that tiny little bit of crocheting there. It's not doing it for me. Let's have another look. There's this lace here which has snip that itty bitty bit out. See if we can do something with this. Don't know if this will work either. I can tuck that under there. So I just need to trim it a little bit more to get the look I'm looking for. I sort of like it sitting on top, but it's competing with the fabric. Do I need a plainer piece of fabric maybe? What have I got? No. Just flicking through those little itty bitty. There's a red star. I'm just wondering if, no, it's a different red. Is the door the issue? I think the door's the issue. I do want the lace. I like the lace. And I'm just thinking I need a different fabric. I just don't have many reds in here other than that one. I don't know. Just not quite seeing. See, there's some holly. I don't mind that, but it does compete with the lace. Do I forget about the lace? Do I add the lace up in here? So then the lace is there. Yeah, lace is gone. It's going up the top there. Then do I go back to my original door? Yeah. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. I don't think I am going to do that, guys. Do you know why? Because when I look over here at my little door I stitched here, it's got a very plain background and then the door is stitched in the black. So I'm going to go to the other box of fabrics where I have more of the plainer fabrics from that pack, the blue piece, and I'm going to find myself a little scrap of a plain, maybe that. I know it's got blue on it, but I don't think that matters. That one, or the one I'm thinking about is this one. That guy there. Let's take a chunk of that. It's neutral, just in case those blue little dots don't look right. So let's just get that out of the way. I tell you. Yeah. No. Okay. Put that back. Put that back. Let's cut our door out of this. It matches the windows too, because that fabric is the red version of the beige version. I've made the door a little bit shorter too. Look, at the end of the day, it's a wonky little house there. It doesn't really matter. Probably putting way too much thought into it. So there's my door. I might just lift it a little bit so that it's okay. One door. Will the lace work now? Sort of does, doesn't it? Don't think it's wide enough. I like it up there. So I'm going to just have it peeking out the top there. And I might have to go looking for another semicircle that's a bit wider. Maybe I've got to include I don't know. What I'll do is I'll get the door detail at least stitched in, and then have a think about if there's a piece of lace. I'm also going to cut myself another window just in case I don't find a piece of lace that I like. I've got a window there as per this design ready to go. Maybe I use the bow on the door that we found. 2 and number 3. Yeah, I like that. 3 little windows. I think that one needs to be turned around. And then the bow. That's what I'm going to do. The bow's going on the door. Instead of the little window, I'm going to stitch the bow on somehow, I think. But anyway, we'll see. Who knows? Goodness me. Got some good little snippets there. We'll just put aside in my little box of tricks. Now, what else do we need to do? We need to find a lace to go along the bottom. Do we use that lace? Yeah, let's do that. How gorgeous. For a picket fence, we will use that same lace. I'm happy with that. Gosh, you could do so many variations of this. You're probably yelling at the screen going, do this, do that. There's so many things you can do. So I'm just going to now pin everything into position, and then it's ready to be all stitched down and embellished. That's great. That come together in the end. I'm going to pin that little bow. I'm going to just stab it to my pad so it's ready to go. I think I'll leave that for inspiration. But the little house is pretty much, I need to find a black embroidery cotton as well. So I might do that. That way this can just go straight to the couch and it's got everything I need to finish it off. Now, black is what we're looking for. Here we go. All right. Black cotton, everything's there to stitch. Yes, I'll leave that needle there with that cotton. So we're pretty much right to go for that project. We've got our base. we've got our embroidered bits. Okay, so now let's have a little look at this envelope. I probably won't prep anything at this stage, but this will be in the next video, and I'm thinking along the lines of doing something definitely over that stamp. Maybe we create a cluster of fabrics. Look, I'm off on another tangent. We won't go too crazy because, yeah, we'll definitely do something along the lines of, you know, creating a cluster of bits and pieces. We could even get some more crocheting out and stitching that, and we should be able to get our hand in there and stitch that down. So that will fix the front, and then we have to have a think about what we do on the back. And my thoughts at this stage was to get one of these Santas that I used in my journal kits and in the journal stitchery. Had some spares left over from my stash. Oops. I thought about doing something with this on the back. Just a, you know, a cluster or just some random stitching. So, dear Santa, that'd work, wouldn't it? Yeah, look at that. Anyway, we'll have a play with that in the next video. One thing at a time, Corrine. Let's just put that to one side, and yeah, I think we're pretty much got this sorted. It's ready just to be constructed in the way of stitching. I can close up that for now. I might just move this up. There's the thread I need. So that's ready to go off and be done. Let's bring this out. That's dried. We've got a few more minutes left, so I'm just going to trim up. And I think I will definitely attach another piece of card to this, because I can feel the ribs, and you know what fabric's like, when it glues down it will pick up on those ribs, where I'd rather have that flat surface. So let's just do that, and then this can be ready to go. Yeah, see the ribs? They would show through, I believe, on the fabric, and that would have been a bit disappointing to have a piece of needlework be obviously stuck on a piece of cardboard from an espresso box. But at least this will be really strong. Their little hands can grab it. Not that they're little kids at all, but you never know where this key might end up. One of them might end up having a family of their own one day, and this key might go to the next generation. Who knows? At least we'll know that it's nice and strong. It's not going to fail. The corner's not straight. That's pretty good. Awesome. So we've pretty much got ourselves moving along on one of the crafting activities. So I will need a couple days to do that stitching. So the next video will be something else in the project pile. Who knows? We'll see what takes my fancy tomorrow morning when I walk into my room. I'm going to trim that. It's nice and sturdy, and by me trimming it, it's not affecting the integrity of the piece being glued on the back there at all. That's really good. So there's our tag. Heavy duty. Ready to go. You know, one thing I've thought of is the brad, the eyelet that's going to go through it probably won't be able to because it is so big, so thick. So I either find some more find some other way of doing it, which I'm sure I can, because I don't think my brads are going to go through that. They're not brads, they're eyelets. So it might be just a case if we punch the hole and then reinforce it. So we'll come up with some solution there. That should not be a problem. All right, that will dry and that is ready to go to become our tag. Awesome, I love it. Okay, all right everyone, let's leave it at that. Thank you for joining me on this project. Let's get that back under the mat so that it has some pressure on it. And we've got our project ready for this evening's stitching. Just need, oh, maybe a Christmas movie. Oh, that'd be just a bit too much, wouldn't it? A little bit too much. All right, I'll get rid of all those scraps. Done. Thank you, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye for now.